doing this.
All right, listen, man, it's my pleasure, man. I thank you for having me.
You bet. Now, how's business been first before I get into everything with the whole pandemic? I mean, you hanging in there, staying
Honestly,
strong?
yeah. We're staying strong. We're
Good.
about well, we're just a little bit about maybe about 85% back to
Oh,
what we
good.
used to be
Good.
before
Okay.
pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but we're back. I mean, it caused a lot of hysteria and all, crazy.
Sure.
Can I cuss on here
Yeah.
or I mean, I try not to curse too much, but sometimes it just slips
Yeah,
out. I don't want to.
yeah. You could
Okay.
cuss on here. It's all good,
Yeah,
man.
I'm not. I'm just not gonna. Yeah, I'm not dropping the F-bomb for
Unfiltered. I
every.
don't care. I've had people done it.
You got you.
But no, that's the thing. That's why I enjoy doing what I do. And I tell people that too, because I had a comedian on the other day, Damon Williams, and he asked me, I said, hey, that's why I'm doing this. There's no narrative here. This is
Yeah,
just two people talking, like that's the
got you.
thing though, because like normal interviews, sometimes you feel pressured and you don't get true
Yeah.
responses out of people.
No,
And
listen,
you
I'm giving it
take,
to you,
yeah,
giving
it's
it to you
crazy.
raw, bro. I give it to
Exactly.
you
That's how
raw.
it should be. But
Yeah, just so you know, today is annual 305 day here in
and you're
Miami-Dade County.
305. That's the area code, right?
Yeah, that's why I got my Dade County
Dade
hat on,
County.
my Dade
Sure.
County shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today's annual 305 day.
It's a big day down there.
Yeah, it's a big day, man. Especially we didn't, last year was the last time. That was pretty much the last biggest thing we've had here before we shut down.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
So
now, personally, for me, I always start every conversation that I have with people with how I, came to know them. I feel like I've known you my whole life, but this is the first time I've talked to you. And
cool.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm not, like I said, I've never spoken to you, but I did go back and forth with you on Instagram back in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a documentary on Jose Fernandez, and that's how I came across you.
Yeah.
I
You
released
can see Jose in the back there a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I got excited about that. But and I don't want to talk about the whole thing, but I always like to address how I came across the people I'm talking to. And I reached out to you on Instagram, told you about a documentary that I was doing, asked if you would like to be in it. But you're a busy man. That never happened. But you were a big part of it in the film, because we had Andres Salgado in there, the Jose guy, and he was like,
yeah.
And he kind of narrated the whole story.
I remember. Yeah, I remember you sent me the stuff. Yeah, I remember.
So this is a big deal for me. I mean, this is I'm excited to talk to you, because I felt just by doing the movie, man, I felt like I was connected to everyone in this circle, and this is just going to be fun. So I appreciate you doing this.
No, my pleasure, man. Trust me.
All right. Perfect. Good stuff. So now you've been chopping hair for a while. I told people in the intro a little bit about the backstory for you, but I mean, haircutting, how'd that come to be? I mean, was this something you set out to do, or is it just kind of happen?
Honestly, no, man. My mom was a beautician, so she always had like clippers and scissors and combs and stuff laying around the house. And I grew up in I'm 50 years old. I was born in 1970.
Oh wow.
So I grew up in the late 70s and early 80s. When we started having a voice, meaning like hip hop.
Right.
So I was real into the birth of hip hop, and that was my thing. And I wanted to get the contemporary, the cuts that were. And my mom wasn't having it. She wanted me to have the good boy haircut with the curls, because she always said I had bad hair. You know what I'm saying? I got real, real curly,
right.
Kind of like, what she called bad hair, because it's not nice and straight. And she always wanted me to have the curls. She would iron my hair and blow dry my hair. And I hated that shit, man. So I wanted the low cuts, I wanted the line on the side and stuff like that. And I just started doing it myself, man. And she was like, well, what barbershop you going to? I was like, and I'm 14, 15. I was like, I'm doing it myself. There's no way. So yeah, I was using her stuff, man, and clean them up real good. And see, I could get away with her because she would have noticed. But my dad, if I would touch any of my dad's stuff, like, dude, he'd have like coins and silver dollars, and I'd touch them just to look at them.
You nudge it, you'd be like, you moved it, didn't you?
Bro. Yes, exactly, Chris. And listen, man, it was like that, man. And my dad was so like anal about all that shit, man.
My
it was
dad.
crazy.
It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I started, man. And then little by little I started doing it, cutting hair in the neighborhood, like for cigarettes and a quart of beer, or what I'm saying, stuff like that, bro. Yeah, that's how I started.
You really wanted to do it.
You know what, man? It wasn't that I really wanted to do it, but I kind of got a little pleasure out of doing it, because you kind of change people's image, and and it was in. Everybody wanted the cool cuts, you know what I'm saying? And you got to remember back then in the '80s, barbershops were a couple old men just sitting there waiting for the bell to go off when somebody walk in, or a unisex would be 3-4 women and 1 or 2 barbers. So there was no space for me there. So I started doing it out of the porch and at my house, and throw a shower curtain around somebody, you know what I'm saying? Because my mom was like, don't use my towels. And, so that's what I started doing, man. And little by little, it just started snowballing. And I'll be honest with you, man. And, I caught a big break in 93 with Gary Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
We had a mutual friend in common, CO and Money Mark. And yeah, I don't know if you know a little bit about rap music or whatever, hip hop. That's Trey Plus Six. They were with Slip and Slide Records and Trick Daddy. Yeah, so they put me down with Sheffield, and Chef was like, "Yeah, well, where's his barbershop at?" And they were like, "Well, he cuts out of a laundry room at his house." And he was like, "What?" So he's like, "Man, trust me, man. We're gonna go with you."
He really trusts you, huh?
Yeah, he did, man. And I tell you what, and you know what? That was the first time I really got starstruck. And I was like,
really?
Bro, that's Gary Sheffield. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, yeah.
And I was back in 93. So, that's how I kind of grew out, grew from that,
That's crazy.
And then I started getting a little notoriety in the neighborhoods and stuff. And
yeah.
So that's how I started growing.
That's crazy.
That was pre-social media. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you really had to go do the legwork, giving out business cards and, word of mouth, all of that.
Right. That's crazy, man. So yeah, I was going to say, so Gary Sheffield, that opportunity happened. And then, after that, that had to be big enough of a moment to kind of get you to where you are today. There's so many things that happened from there to now, but what was it about that cut though? Like, was it obviously Gary Sheffield, freaking huge. But what was it about that moment? Like from there to that next moment, as far as a break goes, establishing Headz Up,
it gave me the confidence. I'm gonna be real with you. It gave me the confidence that I was like, well, shit, if a major league ball player trusts me and he keeps coming back,
right,
I must really be pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So,
yeah,
and I had all the neighborhoods on lockdown. I lived in, the part of Miami called Carroll City. And I'm sure you heard Rick Ross talking about it.
I've heard of Rick Ross, but
yeah, Carroll City. So, I started getting my notoriety around, and then I'd have people coming from other, back in them days, there was a lot of like gangs and stuff like that. So I had to make sure. Yeah. It was real divided, and so I had to, have the Hialeah people come one day, Carroll City people on the other day, people from Westchester come another time. Separating people because I didn't want no violence at my house because it was still my house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, your mom would have been like, "This hobby, you gotta else."
Yeah. Well, I had already bought a house. I already had bought a home. I bought a home in I was 20 years old, 21 when I bought my home, and that's when I really started cutting lots.
It's young.
Yeah,
Holy
man.
Cow.
Yeah, my son is 32 now, and my daughter's 28, and I got 4 grandbabies.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I started early. Huh?
Your brothers, sisters growing up?
I got an older sister and I got a younger brother.
What'd they do? Were you guys close?
Somewhat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Somewhat, yeah. But I was always kind of like the little black sheep of the family. I was the one getting in trouble. That's like everybody says, the middle child. You know what I'm saying?
That's me, yeah, man.
So
that's great. That's great. That's awesome. So, how supportive were they of what you were doing? Were they kind of just focused on them, tunnel vision them? Were they? Was everyone kind of like, hey, yeah, do it. You do you. Do what you want to do.
Man, I really didn't have the support like that. I still remember, one instance, my dad wanted me to go ahead and help him do something, and I was like, man, I can't on a Saturday, bro. Like, I got people that I got to cut. And he was like, cut. He was like, man, come on, man. That's not real, man. And I was like,
oh, wow.
I'm taking it real. You know what I'm saying? But my mom knew that, I had something there. You know what I'm saying? My dad really wasn't up for it, And, I always had a job, and then I would get home. I had a job. I worked for the county for 11 years. And I used to get home about 4:30 in the afternoon. And I had a line of people outside my house, man, just waiting. Like, I was here first. Yo, I'm second. Hey, I told your wife I was third. Yeah, man, I cut hair every day, man. I go to work with the county at 7:30 in the morning and get off about 4:30 and then get home and cut hair from 5 to about 1, 2 in the morning.
Wow.
And that was every single day. I was a construction inspector.
Gotcha. Cool.
For new construction, water and sewer. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. How long did that last?
11 years.
Oh my God, 11 years.
Did that for 11 years, yeah.
Wow. And then
before that,
before
that I worked at there's a department store called Brandsmart. I don't know if you guys heard about Brandsmart.
No. I'm in Chicago.
Yeah, Brandsmart. It's a big store down here in Miami. And shit, when I used to get off of Brandsmart, I'd bring my little clippers with me and I cut hair in the warehouse bathroom.
Wow, that's great.
For my manager and my, co-workers and stuff. Yeah, so I was always cutting hair. That was always my thing.
Wow, that's crazy. So you're an art guy. You're kind of into the arts.
Yeah, you could call it that. We're artists. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Definitely. You're crafting some, you're basically, you're crafting the image that people are seeing of others. It's a big deal.
Indeed. Indeed.
For me, I was never really into that stuff at first. Before I'm like, I don't know, I'll just let it grow. And I never cared about it. But then I was like, Shoot. Then I started talking to
Yeah,
girls. I'm like,
yeah.
then I'm like, hey, all right,
Listen.
baby. Hey, you know what? I got to get a haircut.
Yeah, hair's come a long way. You know, a lot of styles. It's
Right.
been a long time. You know what I'm saying? And hair, you know, the art of cutting hair has evolved a whole lot. You know, I still remember trying to, you know, emulate cuts I would see on. I'd buy like Right On magazines and the Source magazines, and because there was, you know, watch videos. Oh shoot, he had this cut. Let me try to make that cut on somebody. Because there was really nothing else.
Right.
You know, we didn't have social media. We're in YouTube and stuff, so it was kind of hard.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
That's crazy.
I mean, the kids nowadays, man, coming
You
up
got
now,
everything.
yeah, they got it. It's so easy, man. You can go, you get tutorials on, you know, on anything nowadays on YouTube. So, you know,
No, that's true.
we're kind of like, you know, in them days, we were kind of like in the Flintstone era.
Yeah, we didn't
You
know
know what I'm
anything.
saying?
You actually had to
You know
work a little
nothing.
harder. I mean, no. Well, it's like that. Not saying that they aren't working hard now. You still have to put forth the effort
Oh,
because obviously
no doubt
you
about
wouldn't
it.
be where you are today if you still didn't work hard. Obviously, so it's
Listen, man,
but it's
I tell people
easier.
all the time. Yeah, well, yeah, I tell people all the time. Listen, if people are like, man, you're the best. I say, listen, man, I might not be the best in my city, might
Right.
not be the best in my barbershop, but I tell you what, don't nobody. And I say this with true honesty, nobody outworks me. Like I work, like
That's the
I really
mindset.
yeah, man, I'm really dedicated to what I do. And then I still have the love for it just the same way I did when I was 16, 17. You know, so it's, you know,
crazy.
I haven't fell out of love with it.
Yeah.
My son does the same thing. My son's a barber. He owns his own barbershop also.
Wow.
So, you know, kind of, you know, we took it on to the family, you know, it's a family business now.
Right. Now, is he the one who you have two Heads Up? Is he doing the
Yeah,
one
Heads
up
Up
in
too.
Pembroke?
Yeah, in Pembroke Pines. Yeah, that's him. Heads Up too. Yeah, that's Willie.
That's crazy. You trust him a lot then. I mean, that's a big
of course. Well, that's it. I mean, it's his shop, you know. All I did was just I gave him the name, you know what I'm saying? But it's all him, man. He wanted to do it his way. He didn't want my input. I mean, obviously he wanted my input, but he didn't want me to get too involved. And he was like, you're too opinionated. But that's cool though, you know what I'm saying? Because he did it his way, you know what I'm saying? And I respect that. As a man, I respect that.
Yeah, that's good though. I mean, for him, was it just by him seeing you do what you do that he kind of like, yeah, sure, I do it? Or was it something that, I mean, how did he get into it? Just
honestly,
being at the shop?
I mean, he was at the shop with me. He was homeschooled most of the time when he was younger. So he would come to the ballpark with me since I was going to the ballpark since 97, 98. So he would go to the ballpark with me, and you know, he always saw me cutting hair, but he didn't really like to cut hair. He was actually a ball player. He was going to college playing ball.
Really?
And then he had he was playing college down here in Miami.
Cool.
And he was like, he had a little part-time job as a server at a restaurant. And he said he busted his ass one day. He was like, man, I had a knot full of money. He was like, I couldn't wait to count it. Right. And when he counted that, he was like, man, I know I made bread today. And he said he had about 59, 60 bucks. He was like, I'm done with this. So he called me the next day. He told me the next day, he was like, hey, I'm done. Show me how to cut hair.
Yeah.
So I sat his ass right next to me, man, and then put him there for about 6 months. All he would do is just edge ups. And he's like, well, I'm tired of doing that. I said, listen, little by little, we got to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look at what he's become today, man. He's a great barber, great business owner. You know, he's awesome. He's great. You know, so proud of him.
That's great. You know, the thing that's special about that too is there's not many people who have relationships like that with a father. I mean, especially now. I mean, there's so much division and so much separation now. It's like, I mean, that's to have something like that is important. Right. I mean, there's so many people out there who don't even know who their dad is, you know, and to have that relationship, to have that business, then kind of morph into what it is today. That's pretty damn cool. Yeah, but I mean, how long have you actually had the storefront for Heads Up?
I opened up May 2001.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, crazy. So it'll be 20 years now. It'll be 20 years in May. Yeah, man. I mean, and that's really rare out here where you find the same barbershop, same location, same owner for 20 years. Yeah, it's got to say something, you know what I'm saying? That has to, you know, be worth something right there, you know, because a lot of this stuff out here is, you know, guys do it, they bring it up a little bit, they sell, and it's not what I wanted to do.
Right.
You know, I do this because I love this, you know what I'm saying? This is why I wanted to make a shop where, you know, you can come, your kids can come, your grandparents, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, your grandfather, like we got 4 generations coming in at one time, you know what I'm saying? Grandfather, the father, the son, and then the grandson.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I love it, man. I love what I do.
You know, you mentioned, you mentioned something in there too, where it's like you have other people who you know, grew up and fell into selling and stuff like that. I mean, how did you stay out of that? I mean, because obviously especially at the time growing up in that area. I mean, that was Miami Vice. That stuff is prevalent in that part of Florida. I mean, it was like
that whole the
if you
cocaine
didn't
cowboy
do
era.
it,
Yeah,
it's like,
the
what? You
cocaine
didn't do
cowboy
that?
era.
Yeah,
Yeah, the cocaine cowboy era and the Miami Vice is a little before my time.
sure.
But nevertheless, that was, the tail end of that is when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys that I hung around with, sold it and stuff. And I was offered a bunch of times, and I had the perfect alibi. People coming to my house to get haircuts. I could have done, all day. And which I'll tell you a story. There's times where I woke up in the morning getting ready to go to work, jumping in my truck, and there's undercover cops outside, picking through my garbage outside in the swale area. I was like, "Oh, what y'all doing?" He goes, "Don't worry about it. Get in the house." I said, "I'm not staying in the house." I said, "All you're gonna find in there is hair, man."
Yeah.
I said, I don't deal joke, man. I deal hair. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I cut hair. So I might get busted back then for, not, conducting barbering services, not in a proper place, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I wasn't serving dope, man. That's one thing, to be honest with you, Chris. I never even thought about twice. I never wanted to do it. It's something I don't trust people. Yeah. I don't trust people that well where I'm, my back's going to be up against the wall, and I'm, I don't want to be put in that predicament. That's just something I never wanted to do.
That's probably part of the reason as to why you're still where you are today, and you still have what you have. I mean,
I believe so.
It's very easy to fall right.
I believe so. And man. And listen, God was always on my side. I'm not going to lie to you. God was always on my side.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So the Marlins, I know after Sheffield, when did the Marlins, I mean, how did that come to be? Or like, hey, why don't you come here? I mean, when did that come?
To be honest, in 97, I did most of the guys from the World Series team at my home.
Wow.
And and then in 98, the visiting clubhouse guy gave me a call. He was one of my good friend's father. He was a visiting side clubhouse assistant manager.
Wow.
And he was like, "Hey, you want to come and cut over here? We got a couple guys I want to get cuts from the Giants." And I was like,
"Wow."
Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, Vita Blue." And I was like, "Who the fuck is Vita Blue?" I didn't know who Vita Blue was. So I went over there, and I was like, "Yeah, no problem. I'm on my way." I went over there with a cart, my chair, I mean, all my stuff. And they're like, "This guy moving in?" And I was like, "Well, if I'm gonna do this right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right." And and that's when it was. And then they loved it that day, and they got a lot of good, reviews on it. And they were like, "Hey, dude, can you come every second day of homestand?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem." On my way out, they walked me over through the Marlins side.
Right.
And the door happened to be open, and Levon Hernandez and Edgar Renteria was sitting on the couch. And they were like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, they called me to go cut." You couldn't text people back then. We didn't have texting. So, it was through a beeper. You beep somebody and then you have to call.
I got a SIG on my beeper.
Yeah. So then I told him, I was like, "Well, they called me to come in, and he was like, "Well, can you come tomorrow for us?" I was like, "Yeah." And then the security guard that was walking around, he was like, "Look, I'll get him a pass for tomorrow." And that's what happened after that, man. So I was going back and forth, locker room, clubhouse. And then they say, "Listen, man, let's just give this guy, a neutral spot where both teams can come in." And that's what happened. And in 2012, when the Marlins moved to the new stadium, David Sampson, I still remember asking David Sampson,
Good guy,
like,
man.
"Dave, yeah. Listen, he's always, you can say what you want about
Very
Dave, man. And I'll tell you what, he's always been solid with me, man. He's always looked out for me and never judged me. I have a past, you know what I'm saying? We spoke about it. He was like, "Listen, it wouldn't be a great story if you didn't have a bad part of it." You know what I'm saying? So it can't just be good all the way through. You know what I'm saying? So he told me, "Listen, you're in our plan, so don't worry about nothing." And sure enough, man, I think we were playing the Yankees in an exhibition game right when the stadium first opened.
Wow.
And I was like, I haven't gotten a call. Ricky Nolasco hits me up and he's like, "Dude, come tomorrow." He was like, "We got a spot for you so you can come check it out." Went over there the next day and they were like, "Look, we got 2 spots." I said, "This is the spot I want." Yeah. And it was right next to the clubhouse. And he was like, "This is what you want." It was actually the smallest spot. And I was like, "Yeah." And it looked like a cellar. I mean, it's just 4 walls, man. That's it. And I'm sure you've seen pics and stuff, No, I don't need much, man. Right, all I need is lighting and AC. That's all I need, and somewhere to plug, my machines in.
Sure.
And that was it, dude. That was it, man. That's how I got started at the ballpark here, and that's how Headz Up Barbershop Miami Marlins Ballpark came about.
Yeah, the interesting thing is people coming in for those too. I mean, because now over years you've built a list. I mean, you have home, away, people flying in out of state to get a cut. Know, when they have time off from whatever it is they're doing, in their schedule. But at that time, I mean, what was it? Were you recruiting? Was it just Marlins people, or how did people? I mean, how did they find their way back there?
Like I said, man, we'd put up on the whiteboard,
just the whiteboard, okay.
Haircuts available.
Perfect.
And that's how it just started growing, dude. And then little by little, guys would, no, it was never free. They would ask me, still to this day, they ask me, they're like, oh, how much I owe you? And I was like, look, whatever you want. I've never set a price, and I always tell them, look, give me whatever you want. And a couple of times I've been disappointed. I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
But, 95% of the time I've been, they bless me. And I'm not complaining. Yeah, I'm not complaining.
That's great.
That's how it came about. And then all the guys, guys, it's, how the game is, man. You're with the Marlins one day, the next day you're with the Cardinals. And, then guys come from the Mets. And then the week after or the next season, they're back there with the Marlins. Hey, I told these guys about you, and back and forth. And so that's kind of, my name got around. And so far I've been, they call me the official barber for Major League Baseball. I don't know how true that is to it, but I tell you what, I was the first, though.
Yeah.
That I definitely was the first barber for Major League Baseball. 100%.
Yeah.
And the only one who has an official licensed and registered barbershop inside a ballpark.
It's just
till last year that I know of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's great.
Which belongs to me. Yeah, doesn't belong to the team, belongs to me. But the team, obviously it's inside the team building.
Right.
But it's my room, yeah.
That's awesome.
So I got, it's got my name on it. It's everything.
Now, were you always a sports guy? I mean, did you get really into it with this?
Yeah. It's a baseball, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from the inner city. So in back in the 80s, inner city, we wouldn't really play baseball. I mean, we played like pepper and stuff like that. That was about it. But baseball, nah. Pepper, I mean, it was like three. I mean, we used to play three rollers and a fly.
I probably sound like an idiot, but I'm a kid from Chicago with no.
Yeah, well, I mean, we imagine baseball's all year round out here, so we got great weather all the time out here. But it's just you go up to hit, and if the same guy catches three rollers in a row, or three rollers period, or he catches a pop fly, then he's up to bat. But that's about it. That's what we would play. And but I was a football guy and basketball guy, definitely.
Gotcha. Cool. And that never panned out. You never wanted to do any of that further.
No, actually, two good friends of mine, who I look up to, and they also look up to me. They kind of call me like their mentor, which
that's awesome.
That's awesome to hear that. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who do the Dolphins,
right?
And which is Kane's Barber, and then my boy,
cool.
My boy, yeah, what I'm saying. So they do their thing, man. And it's a great thing, I mean, this is something. Listen, man, Chris, this is something that's needed for every sport. To be honest with you, man. I believe every team should have a team barber, especially
the NBA too.
You know what I'm saying? NFL, I believe, I think every team should have a team barber, because you eliminate having to go elsewhere and stuff like that. You got somebody who's trusted and knows the game and knows the guys, and I mean, you're in a controlled environment.
Y'all have team doctors. Y'all have team physicians. Why not have it? I mean, it's the same thing. It falls underneath that category.
If this was a woman's sport, you best believe they'd have a nail tech and they'd have a hair lady there.
They probably do. You know what I'm saying? We just don't hear about it, right?
Yeah. For sure, no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I never thought about it that way, but that's a good way.
I mean, listen, you could think about it. These guys play a 7:00 game. They get there about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What time do they have to go out and venture to go to a barbershop?
You can't shower, clean up. They got to do a quick cut.
You got to, you do it there at their leisure. You know what I'm saying? Which is great. It's great for the guys to do that.
Right. That's great. Now, I told myself when I did this interview that I didn't want to, because I'm talking to you about you. And that's the whole point of it. I like to separate the person usually from the occupation, or the occupation from the person. But
listen, this is me though, brother. This is me.
Well, this is what I was leading to. I was saying
I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for this break that I caught. Right. Because absolutely. I was lost out in the streets. I didn't know there was a medium. I thought there was for example, my father, hardworking guy, working two jobs, and then I saw the ball players. So I didn't know there was an in between. Yeah. And I fell right in between. You know what I'm saying?
You did it. There's always something.
So I did. Yeah, man, definitely. And God is good, man. God has blessed me.
I can't. Yeah, it's awesome. Yep. What I was gonna say was that I didn't want to get hung up on the Jose stuff, but I wanted to talk about the whole coming to be for that cut for ESPN, the Make-A-Wish, for the charity and stuff like that. Yeah. That's what I wanted to hear from you about, because I talked to Andres about it, for almost over an hour. I'm not just about that, but just about, for the movie that I did. But
right.
What was important about the benefit and what came of that for you? Was that a big part of you agreeing to
Honestly, it
do
was.
it?
Of course, anything that
Yeah.
Jose wanted to do, I was always down for it because.
Yeah.
Listen, man, Jose, and I wish you would have met him in person. The guy was a great person.
Inspirational.
He was what you think he was. He was as advertised.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's who he was. And he wasn't scared to be himself around anybody.
Mm.
You liked him, you liked him. If you didn't, oh well, but that's who he is. You know what I'm saying? He ain't budged for nobody. And when he told me that, he was like, man, this guy's letting his whole hair grow, and this is crazy just for me. And I was like, look, that's cool, dude. Like, he's like, bro, you think that, that is it weird? I was like, no, bro, that's like, what I'm saying? You think about it till you come back, bro.
Right.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
And then he started telling me, he's like, did I say he wants you to cut his hair? I was like, I'm down, man. He was like, you sure you want to do it? I said, of course. I said, 100%. I'm down with it. Yeah. And I even had him. I said, man, you can't stand next to me and watch me do it. You grab the clippers and you do it too, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him the clippers and he started cutting his hair also.
That's great. Yeah, that's it's awesome, man.
Yeah, and then, I was down. I was on the road with Jose a lot. It was a whole rehabbing and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was tough. It was tough.
Very close.
The rehab part was we were really close.
Mm. That's crazy.
That's why you see him up there. That's why you see him right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I really wanted to talk to you though too, because I felt like I grew so close to, somebody that I didn't know. Because the weird thing is, I'm sure you could speak to this too, is I don't know why people do this, but people get so attached to certain people in sports or celebrities or musicians, rappers, artists, or whatever it is, and they get so attached to them like their family. It's weird. I don't know why we do it, but it's not. It's because I think we idolize and we appreciate whatever it is that they do. It's not that we're weird or attached to that individual. We're just looked up to them.
Right.
But for me, that's why I did it. And now I'm able to talk to you. And I really just kind of wanted to see exactly the impact that he had on you, because I know I never got the chance to talk to you about him for the film, but I know he meant so much to you. And just, not even the whole haircutting thing and, the relationship with the Marlins, but outside as a person, what was so important and about him, and what was so special about your relationship, if you can, before we move on?
Man, listen, and I tell people, the story how I met Jose. Mm-hmm. I was in spring training. I cut in the bathroom in spring training. Mm-hmm. And I choose to cut in the bathroom because everybody goes to the bathroom. Right. So you have to pass me to go there. So that way they know I'm there.
Genius. Yeah.
And, so I heard this loud voice and this kid in bad English and just a lot of Spanish. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I happened to look through the mirror and I just see a big image. And I was like, who's that? Yeah. And then I see the Cuban link chains on him. And then he walks up to me and he was like, he just stands there and looks at me. He's a big guy. He's about 6'3". He looks at me. Yeah. He was like, hey, man, you got a lot of tattoos on you. And I was like, what? He's like, you have a lot of tattoos. His English wasn't great.
Tattoos, yeah, right.
And I was like, yeah, I got a lot. And he was like, how many you got? And I was like, what? Like, I'm a different type of dude. I'm not friendly like that.
It's that question.
So I was like, and I still didn't know who this kid was.
Right.
And then I was like, bro, you're not supposed to count how many tattoos you got. He was like, well, why not? I was like, I don't know. It's just, that's what people say. You're not supposed to count them. I said, I got so many I can't count, bro. I don't know. And he was like, you got any more space to get more? And I was like, yeah. He was like, where, your ass? And then he walks away. I was like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? And then the guy I was cutting, I forgot who it was. Yeah, right. And then the guy who I was cutting, he was like, man, that's the phenom, man. That's that kid we got from here, from Tampa, Jose Fernandez. I was like, oh, that's Jose Fernandez. I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, maybe about a half hour, 45 minutes later, he sits on my chair and we start talking and fell in love with the guy, man. Mm. And he got up, he had my number, I had his number. We were texting back and forth. And
yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough. And you know what? It got tough for me just thinking about it today because, and I hope you don't get bad at, just bringing stuff up like this, but I was able to talk to another person that all too well, Joseph Gormley, painter, Marlins. He did all the charity work. Mm-hmm. And maybe this may bring some closure to everything. But when I reached out to you about that film, I did it for Penelope. The whole reason I did it was for her and only her, because I didn't want her to grow up with a different story. I wanted to really illustrate what you said. He was larger than life and a really good person. He did so much for the people. And Joseph reached out to me. He was on the show back in last May, and I lost it. He goes, so that painting I did for your movie, you want to know where it is? I said, what do you mean? He goes, so David Sampson called me and he says, that painting, if you want, I could give it to Penelope. And I said, what? So David Sampson has the painting that Joseph did for my movie that I did for Penelope. And back in November was the pinnacle of it, because Maritza messaged me on Facebook, and I don't know Spanish, so I'm on Google Translate trying to figure this out. She goes, it's very choppy. She goes, nice movie, saw with Penelope. And I broke down. I go, that's it. I never wanted any money. I never wanted anything from that film. I just wanted to give her the gift and the story that Jose couldn't give her. And so this is like closure. It's like a grieving thing. This is I'm great this is happening. But so from him, obviously from Jose, you've done so many other things, and you've touched so many other people's life. Outside of baseball, what has been some of the closest friendships you've built and developed over the years through Headz Up?
Listen, man, countless. Countless. You know, I'm always there for, you know, people wanting sponsorship for, you know, kids baseball leagues, you know, football leagues. I'm always cool. I'm always down for that.
Right.
I do a lot of charity work. I used to go to a place. I used to go to a place out here for juvenile delinquents when they're, you know, under the age of 18, and go speak to them and, you know, and tell them about my past, you know, because I had a past, you know what I'm saying? And that's where it stays. It stays in the past.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? But it was, you know, definitely, and I didn't come from a broken home. Yeah, I didn't come, you know, stuff like that. I did live in a rough neighborhood, but I managed to, you know, stay safe. My parents stayed, you know, kept me safe. You know, I never didn't go without food, you know, but I chose the wrong path at an early age. Instead of looking up to my father being, you know, hardworking man, family guy, you know, I looked up to the, you know, to the hoodlums, to the dope boys, and, you know, the flashy cars, the women, you know, the smoking, the drinking, the gold, you know, the chains and stuff like that. And you know, that was like glamorized for me, you know what I'm saying? And I was mesmerized by it. I was like, wow, I felt that was power, you know, not knowing, looking at it in hindsight, you know, I didn't know that wouldn't amount to nothing. But at an early age, that's what you looked at, you know. I didn't want to be like my dad. In my eyes, my dad was a square. These guys were OGs. These guys were, you know, I won't be just like him. That's Big Bro, you know, that's Big Bro. He had me by like 7-8 years. And then what happened to Big Bro? Big Bro went into prison, you know, they did about 30 years, you know, a couple of them lost their lives. Yeah, you know, so I was like, well, listen, you know, God kept me here for a reason. You know, let me use this the right way. Let me use it the right way, and I'm going to speak out to kids. I'm going to help people. We do turkey drives on Thanksgiving. We do Troy drives, you know, on Christmas. I do haircuts for the homeless people, you know, free haircuts for homeless people. You know, we haven't done it through the pandemic, obviously, you know, but in the past we did that. And, you know, I try to involve my son and a lot of guys from my barbershop and other barbershops who a lot of guys look up to, you know, look up to me. And so I try to give the right example. Right. You know, because I'd never had that figure coming up in the barber game. So I want to be that figure for these guys, you know, because it was hard. The game was hard for me. You know, the barber game was hard for me. You know, a lot of people didn't believe in me. A lot of people had no trust in me. And, you know, I couldn't really, you know, evolve the way I wanted to. So it took me a longer time than it would anybody coming up nowadays. You know, cutting in utility rooms, you know, cutting with shower curtains instead of a smart, you know, stuff like that, you know. So I reach out, you know, and try to help kids as much as I can, you know what I'm saying? Right. And, you know, definitely that's one of the bigger things that I like to do. I like to help people. I'm more of a giver than a receiver. You know, I like to give to people than, you know, I'd rather not receive anything. You give that to somebody else that might need it. Yeah, so it's very you're not a materialistic person. You're very not at all, man. This is the most you'll ever see. This is the most you'll ever see on me. I got no watches. I got no, you know what I'm saying? That's it. Just your watches. You know, those tattoos. There you go. That's it, man. That's it, man. Like my shirts and my hats is what I love. I love my sneakers, and that's about it, man. Like your cars too, right? Big car guy. Oh, I love it. Well, you know, that car is special to me, man. I don't know if you know the story behind that car. It's like the only car I know. Dontrell Willis gave me that car as a gift. After the World Series? It would happen after the World Series, but not for the World Series, obviously. But, you know, he was looking to buy, you know, he's a big car guy. And he was, you know, and in Miami, we have our own car scene out here. And those cars, those cars we call donks. Donks is short for donkey, you know, because they got like a big hydraulic back end. Well, no, we're not. I mean, there is hydraulic movement out here, but we're more into the big rims and stuff like that. Okay. And, you know, big convertibles and So Dontrell wanted a dunk of every year. So I found him a 71. I found him a 75. So I found this one online on eBay, and I was like, man, you got to see this one, man. It's a dream car. He was like, what? I sent him the link to the eBay, and I was like, dude, I was like, how much you want? He was like, man, let's get that one. I want that. And it's convertible too. I like that color. And I was like, yeah, man, it's a dope car. He was like, well, I don't want to pay more than 20. I was like, look, I know how to maneuver a little bit on eBay. So I wound up, winning the bid. So I told him, look, I just won the bid, man. We got the car for $17,500 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
I said, it's got taxes and stuff like that because it came from a dealer up in Farm, Ohio. So with everything, it was going to be about $21,000. So he's like, yeah. He's like, go ahead. I said, look, I got to give him, since I won, I got to give him a $500 deposit. I'm going to go ahead and send him my credit card, $500. Just send me back the $500 after. He was like, okay, I got you. So we started doing the paperwork on the car. I think he had 72 hours to send the rest of the money. And I told him, look, this is the balance of the car. We got to send that and give me your information so we can, get the car. He's like, man, just put the car under your name. I said, what do you mean put the car under my name? When the car gets here, we're going to take it out of my name and put it under your name. And he's like, man, you're terrible, man. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, I'm trying to surprise you, man. That car's for you. I was like, what? He made a grown man cry. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you said you always wanted a convertible and never had the money for it. He was like, here's your convertible. He was like, we appreciate you, man. Everything you do for us, we appreciate. And I was like, wow, that just moved. And then he gave me that. Oh, yeah. And listen, I've had people offer me all kinds of money for that car. And I'm like, is that
still like, that's your main car you drive? That's your everyday, right?
No, that's not every day. No way. No.
I always see that one. It appears that way.
Yeah, Sunday only. That's my Sunday only car.
Yeah.
When there's no traffic, there's no crazy people on the street driving. Because Miami traffic is insane.
It is
insane. Crazy. Yeah, bro. People they drive like this a third world country out here. Yeah. So definitely only Sundays.
Definitely Sundays. That's great.
So
what do you drive for
that's my baby.
What's your?
I got a 2020 Ford Rangers.
There you go. Just that's
my little beater right there, man. I mean, I only go for that's it. That's all it's for. And Sundays is my cruising night.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, hey man. So outside of cars and this, what do you feel is the biggest thing? What's your biggest advice and message to those kind of, I mean, growing up and, you've made it out, you did what you did and you've got yourself a platform now and you use it, for positivity, you use it to give back and help those who's given you the opportunity and platform that you have now. But what would you kind of say is key for people who may be in a tough spot right now, trying to find that, before you thought there was A, B, but you're like, whoa, what's this thing in between?
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you could kind
of man, on? Something that you really believe in. Mm-hmm. If I made it and I did it, and I'm good in it, anybody can do it. Yeah. I wasn't the greatest reader. I wasn't the greatest in math. I was terrible in math. I started learning. I'm terrible. I hated school. I had to go because I had to, but I hated school. I finished. Thank God I graduated. But just follow your dream, man. If you think you can do it, I mean, definitely can do it, man. You just got to stick to it and don't let nobody, take that away from you.
Right.
I mean, listen, like I said, we give back all the time, man. Mm-hmm. On every New Year's, if I've been doing it for 6 years now, every New Year's Day, we have a ride out. We get all our cars and we collab with everybody. The low riders come with us.
Cool.
The old schools, the bikers, the guys in the big trucks, the Jeeps, the imports. And we all meet up somewhere and we take a ride through the whole Miami because remember New Year's Day, everything's pretty much shut down. So we take a ride through Miami and we do this for peace, positivity, and unity in the community. We got to try to, unify the whole community. That's what we try to do, and honestly, man, just giving back, man, whenever you can give back, give back. It's nothing for me to give somebody a helping hand. It's nothing for me to give somebody give them a chance to do something. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's barbers that come to me like, man, like I want to cut hair, but I'm going to school, but it's not clicking. I was like, look, come over here, hang out with us, see how we do this and ask questions, man. It don't bother me, man.
It's the only way to move on and progress.
That's it, man. That's it, honestly, man. And, I just be a good person, bro. Like I wake up every day. Thank God I'm, got another breath. I got another day and make sure that I'm going to be a good person that day, treat everyone with respect and, be humble.
That's right.
And I guess that's the biggest key in life, man. Just, the humility, man, being humble.
Mm-hmm. You got it. Hey, man, I appreciate you doing this.
Oh, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me, man. I was stoked, man. I was stoked, man, when you asked me to do it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
even
good.
though there's a lot of stuff going on now, you know, I
You're
got
a
spring
busy
training
man.
coming on.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
good stuff.
like I said, man, I got a couple more heads I got to cut now. They're waiting on me. So
Oh
I
my
appreciate it,
gosh,
man.
I'm holding up your
Nah,
business. What am I doing?
nah, you're good, man. We
Okay,
after
man.
hours now, bro.
All righty.
All right,
Good
man.
stuff, Ed.
Chris,
Take
thank you
care.
again, man.
You
I
bet.
appreciate you.